two worlds in my chest. If you point, I won't step back. I learned to stand in the mess.
I grew up hearing whispers that I wasn't from here, like my skin was a question and my hair was a fear. I learned to read a room before I learned to read books. Learn the meaning of other from the way people look. They stare like I'm a headline, like I'm trouble in advance, like I'm guilty for existing, like I shouldn't have a chance. So I got louder in my notebook, quieter in the hall. Smiled on the outside, built my spine through it all. I remember playground lines, fingers pointing like knives. I remember teachers pausing like my name was a lie. I remember my mother holding my face in her hand, saying don't let their ignorance decide who you are. And my father with vinyl letting souls fill in the room, saying music is a shelter, you can live in the groove. So I learned rhythm is language, learned pain is a drum. Learn that when you feel alone, you can still overcome.
I used to shrink to fit their comfort. Now I stretch until I breathe. I don't need them to approve me, I just need me to believe. I got two names in one breath, two worlds in my chest. If you point, I won't step back. I learned to stand in the mess. I got two names in one breath, two worlds in my chest. If you point, I won't step back. I learned to stand in the mess. Oh.
They asked me, what are you, like I'm a menu to pick? I said I'm human, they laugh like humanity's a trick, like it's reserved for the ones who match the room's design. But I was born on a border and I'm still doing fine. I learned to translate my silence into something they feel. Turn the shame into power, turn the wounds into skill. I don't rap like I'm begging, I rap like I'm reclaiming. Every insult they handed me became a new name. And I'm not a slogan, I'm a story, I'm a daughter, I'm a song. I'm a woman with a backbone, I've been proving y'all wrong. I don't need pity, I need space, I need respect with no but. I need the same kind of freedom you assume you just get. So when they call me too much, I call it fully alive. When they call me too loud, I call it I survive. I'm not bitter, I'm awake, I'm not angry, I'm exact. I'm the kind of truth that doesn't fit but still stands tall fast.
Pray for lighter skin, now I pray for lighter days. I used to hide my family, now I say their names with grace. If love taught me anything, it's that I'm not here to fold, I'm here to keep my heart open, even when the world is cold.
So I work my head high, not to challenge, just to live, not to make you uncomfortable, just to give myself the same permission you've been taking from birth. I earn my voice in the dirt, I earn my worth. I don't owe you an explanation, I don't know you a defense. I don't know you're nice, I don't know you pretense. I'm not asking for the throne, I'm not asking for the crown. I'm asking for a world where I don't have to water down.
I got two names in one breath, two worlds in my chest. If you point, I won't step back. I learned to stand in the mess. And if my voice shakes a little, that's just history in it. But I'm still here, still singing, so you better get used to it. I got two names in one breath, two worlds in my chest. If you point, I won't step back. I got two names in one breath, worlds in my chest. If you point, I won't step back. I learned to stand in the mess. I'm gold thread in a rough scene, still holding what you don't see. I don't sparkle for approval, I shine because I'm free. I grew up learning how to stay composed, how to keep my face neutral when the air got closed. Closed like a room that never says your name right. Closed like a joke that's just a joke but it bites. I kept my anger folded like a letter, tucked away until I got better at turning it into something useful, because rage can drown you if you don't give it a channel. So I found beats, found pocket, found a groove that could carry me. I learned the difference between being loud and being necessary. I don't need to dominate rooms, I need to leave them intact. I need my spirit unbroken, my love untracked by people who don't deserve it. I'm gold thread in a rough scene, oh, 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 oh. Still holding what you don't see, oh, 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 oh. I don't sparkle for approval, I shine because I'm free. Oh.
They praise
quiet, call me strong when I swallow. They like me better as a silhouette, as a shadow they could follow. But I got tired of being acceptable. Acceptable is a cage with clean walls. So I started speaking plainly, and that's when the room stopped. You learn a lot when you stop begging to be understood. You learn who only loved you when you were easy and good. I don't hate them, I release them. Hate is a long lease. I'd rather own my peace than rent my self-esteem. I'm not built from compliments, I'm built from endurance. I'm built from late night conversations with my own courage. I'm built from family stories, from the ones who held me down, from the music that told me I could stand my ground. Half the world tried to name me, I named myself. Half the world tried to frame me, I stepped outside. I'm not here to be explained, I'm here to be lived. Now I move with that calm fire, the kind that doesn't burn out. I don't need to shout, I belong, I belong. I belong when I breathe, I belong when I sing. I belong in the quiet, in the crowd, in the breakdown, in the wind. I'm not your symbol, I'm not your debate. I'm a woman with a rhythm you can't imitate. I got gold thread in my voice, rough seam in my past, and every stitch I survived made my spine last. Gold thread in a rough seam, still holding. I don't sparkle for approval, no approval. I don't sparkle for approval. I shine because I'm free. I shine because I'm me. I shine because I'm me. I shine because I'm me. There were things nobody said out loud, but everybody understood. Like how I didn't quite belong, but somehow still should know my place, know my tone, know how much space my body deserved to take. Nobody told me directly, they just adjusted their eyes, their posture, the way conversation suddenly shifted. When I entered the room, like my presence was something that needed managing. I learned to breathe between the lines, between glances, between pauses. I learned to exist without interrupting other people's comfort. I didn't grow up wanting attention, I grew up wanting ease, wanting to walk through a day without bracing for impact, wanting to speak without calculating aftermath, wanting rest without guilt attached. So I found music because music didn't ask questions, it didn't need explanations. It held me when language failed, it let me stretch without apologizing for my shape. Between the lines I learned to breathe, between what's said and what they mean. I found a space that felt like me. Between the lines I learned to breathe, between what's said and what they mean. I found a space that felt like me. I don't carry resentment, I carry memory. There's a difference, resentment wants revenge, memory wants clarity. I remember the nights I wondered if loving myself was selfish or survival. Now I know survival doesn't need approval, it just needs consistency. And consistency is quiet, it doesn't announce itself, it just shows up even when nobody's watching. I didn't need to be louder, I needed to be truer. Between the lines I learned to breathe, between what's said and what they mean. I found a space that felt like me. Between the lines I learned to breathe, and breathing was enough.
Black is not the absence of light, it's the place where light learns to stay. I didn't lose myself in the dark, I learned another way. They told me darkness was something to escape, like anything heavy was something to erase. But nobody asked me how it felt to grow in a space where shadows taught me how to know myself, my limits, my word, my name. Before the world ever tried to frame, I learned darkness isn't empty, it's full of unanswered prayers, it's full of people surviving quietly without an audience there. I learned to see beauty in endurance, and staying when leaving made sense, and holding your head steady when life feels dense. Black is not the absence of light, it's the place where light learns to stay. I didn't lose myself in the dark, I learned another way. I've seen joy born from exhaustion, hope built from broken plans. I've seen families stitched together by love you couldn't Instagram. I've seen kids grow up fast because the world didn't wait. I was one of them, learning early how to translate pain. I don't need my story simplified, I don't need pity in disguise. Just because my smile's quiet, I'm not asking for a trophy, I'm asking for understanding that survival isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just standing. Oh, then I didn't choose this color, but it chose to hold me. Ooh, I didn't ask for this weight, but it taught me. So when I say I'm happy, don't check my tone. Happiness doesn't always sing high notes. Sometimes it hums low, sometimes it sits beside you without trying to be seen. That's the happiness I know, that's the happiness in me. Black is not the absence of light, it's where my truth began. I didn't lose myself in the dark, I became who I am. Yeah. Hold it in, hold it in.
Brown sugar silence on my tongue, I learned to hold it when I was young. They wanted me quiet, I played along, but my heartbeat kept a different song. I learned to smile with my shoulders tense, learn to nod when the room got dense, learn to read the air like weather reports, learn which jokes were safe, which ones were chords. I wasn't born loud, I got trained to be a version of easy they could swallow in peace, but peace that costs you, your voice ain't peace. It's a soft kind of cage with invisible keys. They ask me where you from with a blade in it, like curiosity can still be cruel when you say it polite. I gave them answers, they wanted a label, something simple they could put on a table. But I'm not a product, I'm not a category, I'm a story with chapters they never read for me. My mother taught me strength with her hands, my father taught me rhythm with his plans. Not plans on paper, plans in a way he play a record to make the world slow down. In that slow down I found my breath, in that bass line I found my depth, and I kept it even when halls felt cold, even when my name sounded too bold. I used to shrink so they could relax, now I stand still and let them adapt. If my truth makes the room feel tight, that's not my fault, that's their light. Brown sugar left a mark. Now I speak soft, but I speak direct. I don't need permission to earn respect. Brown sugar silence, I let it go. I don't hide my roots in a whisper tone. I don't need the world to approve my skin. I just need my heart to live in it. I remember school pictures forced to fit. Told to stand here, told to fix your lip. Like my face was a problem to be arranged. Like my hair was a storm that needed to change. I remember the stares, the half laugh, the pause, the way people acted like they had a cause for making me feel like a question at best. Like I had to earn the right to rest. But I had music, and music don't flinch. Music don't judge, music don't pinch your identity into a neat little square. It just holds you if you dare. So I dared, I wrote, I stayed up. I turned that shame into a page cut, clean into bars and a breath control. I found a way to keep my soul whole. They called it attitude when I stood straight. They called it too much when I didn't wait for permission to exist in full color. Funny how confidence changes when you're other. But I'm done translating my life for comfort, done paying a tax just to sound proper. I can be gentle and still be tough. I can be quiet and still be enough. Brown sugar, silent, sweet and sharp. I held it in until it left a mark. Now I speak soft, but I speak direct. I don't need permission to earn respect. Brown sugar, silence, I let it go. I don't hide my roots in a whisper tone. I don't need the world to approve my skin. I just need my heart to live in. I used to beg the mirror to explain why I felt split when they said my name. Now I look back, I see the truth. I was whole, they were confused. I was whole, they were confused. Yeah. So let me say it clean, no drama in it. I'm not your lesson, I'm not your limit. I'm not your headline, not your debate. I'm not your what are you, not your weight. I'm a woman with a pulse and a history. I'm a voice with a groove and a memory that won't be erased by a casual stare. If you don't understand, breathe, stay there. I carry two worlds like harmony, not a contradiction, more like melody. I learned to blend pain into art, learn to keep love in a guarded heart, but still keep love because hate is heavy. I choose light even when it's unsteady. Brown sugar silence used to live in me. Now it's just proof of what I used to be. Brown sugar silence, I'm done with that. I don't fold my truth to fit your map. I speak with calm, I stand with grace. I keep my roots in the open place. Brown sugar silence, I let it fade. I'm not ashamed of the life I made. I don't need permission, I don't need a sign. I'm here, I'm whole, I'm mine. They said happiness should look brighter, but mine learned how to live in shade. I found joy in a darker color, and I stopped being afraid. I grew up knowing happiness wasn't loud. It didn't jump, it didn't wave at crowds. It sat beside me when the world got cold, like a quiet hand that wouldn't let go. I watched kids laugh without thinking twice, while I learned early how to read the room, how to know when my smile felt welcome and when it felt like I should leave soon. They didn't hit me with fists, they hit me with distance, with questions wrapped in politeness, with stares that asked me to explain my existence. I didn't have the words back then, I just felt something wasn't fair. So I kept my happiness small, like something fragile I had to care for. They said happiness should look brighter, but mine learned how to live in shade. I found joy in a darker color, and I stopped being afraid. And I stopped being afraid. surely that pain has layers. Some scream, some stay silent. Some make you angry, some make you patient. I was the patient kind, the kind that waits it out, the kind that finds comfort in surviving without a shout. I remember my mother saying, baby, don't hate yourself for how they see. She said, some people need the world simple, but you were never meant to be. So I carried that with me like a note in my pocket. Every time I felt unwanted, I'd unfold it and lock it back inside my chest where my happiness lived. Not bright, not loud, but honest as it is. I don't need a lighter sky to know the sun is there. I don't need their approval to know my life is fair. I don't envy people with easy smiles. I wonder what they've never known, because death comes with the cost, and I paid it early on. I don't romanticize my pain, I just don't deny its place. It taught me how to love gently and look truth in the face. Happiness didn't save me, it stayed with me through questions, through doubt, through being the only one in the room who didn't look like the standard route. And that's why I protect it, that's why I keep it close. My happiness isn't fragile anymore, it's strong because it knows. They said happiness should look brighter, but mine learned how to stay. I found joy in a darker color, and I'm proud of it that way. 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 I grew up talking to a mirror that didn't know my name. I kept asking who I was, it kept looking away. I used to stand in front of my reflection like it owed me an answer, like if I stared long enough it would choose a side. Light enough, dark enough, something enough to finally fit inside. The boxes people built before they ever knew me. I learned early how to read faces before words landed. Learned which rooms were safe and which ones demanded a version of me that smiled smaller, that spoke softer, that didn't remind them I was complicated. I wasn't angry, I was alert. There's a difference when you grow up learning how to protect your heart without ever calling it defense. I grew up talking to a mirror that didn't know my name. I kept asking who I was, it kept looking away. I grew up talking to a mirror that didn't know my name. I kept asking who I was, it kept looking away. They said don't take it personal, but how do you not when your existence is treated like a question mark? I wasn't trying to be special, I was trying to be allowed, trying to walk through a hallway without feeling too loud. So I learned silence and I learned timing, learned when to speak and when to keep hiding. But hiding costs interest and the payment is heavy. You pay with your confidence till you're no longer ready to look yourself in the eye without flinching. I don't blame the mirror, it only showed what it knew. I had to learn my own face before I asked it to. Now I don't ask who I am anymore, I ask who I'm becoming. I stopped chasing permission, I started trusting my stomach. I learned that identity isn't something you announce, it's something you survive into. Without losing balance, I don't need to be chosen, I don't need to be claimed. I named myself quietly and the mirror finally changed. I grew up talking to a mirror, now it knows my name. I kept asking who I was, it kept looking around. I grew up talking to a mirror, now it knows my name. I kept asking who I was, it kept looking away. I don't need a mirror. I got an accent in my heartbeat. You can hear it in my vowels, but you can hear it in the way I pause before I speak in crowds. I learned to soften edges, learn to keep my hands still, learn to swallow questions so the room could keep its chill. They said you talk different, I said I talk careful. They said you're too sensitive, I said I'm just awareful. Because awareness comes from living with the target you didn't choose, from knowing every smile has a chance to turn into news. Not the headline kind, the hallway kind, the whisper that follows you, the look that draws a line. I used to practice being invisible, like it was a survival skill. Now I practice being present, and that takes stronger will, because being seen is risky when you grew up as a question. But I'm tired of hiding truth for somebody else's comfort. I remember family dinners, 2 languages on the table, love served in different tones, both real, both stable. I remember my mother's hands moving fast, making home, and my father's laugh turning the living room warm. I was the bridge in the middle, sometimes proud, sometimes tired, trying to keep two worlds close when outside eyes got wired to separate the label, to ask which side. Like identity is a coin you're forced to pick in public light, but I'm not split, I'm layered, I'm not confused, I'm deep, I'm not half anything, I'm whole, and I keep that wholeness private until I'm ready to share, because the world can't hold complexity without trying to tear. I hear my accent in the heartbeat when the room gets cold. I don't need to explain my story to be worthy of my soul. I hear my accent in the heartbeat, and it keeps me in time, even when they don't understand me. I still know I'm mine. I'm done apologizing for existing in more than one shade. I'm done pretending my history is something I should trade. I don't need to be relatable to people who won't relate. I just need to be honest and let truth calibrate my steps, my tone, my life. I can be soft without being small. I can be calm without being quiet. I can love without losing it all. I learned to rap like breathing, to sing like letting go, to move with that groove that my blood already knows. I carry rhythm from one side, tenderness from the other, and I refuse to let the world turn either into cover. For shame, no, my heart is multilingual, my pain is musical, my healing is gradual, my voice is unusual, and that's not a flaw, that's my signature. They asked me to choose, I chose to live. I hear my accent in the heartbeat, and it's steady when I shake. I don't need the permission to be real, to be awake. I hear my accent in the heartbeat, it kept me alive. Now I wear it like a promise, won't shrink to serve.
My blood remembers things my mouth forgets. The nights my parents stay strong without rest. The looks they exchanged when money was tight. The way love stayed quiet to survive the night. I didn't grow up with luxury, I grew up with endurance. I grew up watching adults choose hope without calling it courage. I saw my mother hold pain like a skill, saw my father make joy out of will. They didn't have space to complain, they had children to raise. So love showed up as responsibility before it showed up as grace. My blood remembers, even when I try to forget. Every sacrifice written in skin, every love I inherited, I carried it. Love remembers, even when I try to forget. Every sacrifice written in skin, every love I inherited, I carry their history in my posture, yeah. And how I don't give up easily, yeah. And how I keep going quietly, even when nobody's cheering me, yeah. And I don't fear struggle, I recognize it, yeah. I've seen it sit at the table and still pass the rice. So I learned family isn't always soft. Sometimes it's firm, sometimes it's strict. Sometimes love is just staying when leaving will be easier to pick. I don't blame them for what they couldn't give. They gave everything they had, and sometimes that's invisible unless you've lived it. To the ones who raised me, I'm still standing. I didn't forget. I carry you gently. Ooh, my blood remembers names they never taught me, stories they didn't have time to tell. I feel it when I doubt myself. I feel it when I choose to excel. Not to impress, but to honor the path they walked before me. I don't need to be perfect, I need to be present. I need to live a life that makes the effort make sense. So when I smile, it's not just mine, it's theirs too. That's how family survives time. My blood remembers, and I remember why I stand. Every step I take forward is holding their hand. I got a soft voice, but my spine don't bend. I don't scream my truth, I just live in it. They mistake calm for weakness, mistake patience for fear. But I've been holding weight long before I got here. I don't need to raise my voice to make my point land. I learned that strength doesn't always shake hands. I watch people burn out, trying to prove they mattered. I chose endurance, even when it's scattered. My expectations of how loud survival should look. I'm not built for performance pain, I'm built for longevity. I don't chase moments, I build memory. I don't need to dominate rooms, I need to walk out whole. That's the kind of power nobody can control. I heard a soft voice, but my spine don't bend. I don't scream my truth, I just live. To stop shrinking when the world felt tight. I learned to stand straight without starting a fight. If you're listening close, you hear what I mean. This isn't defiance, it's discipline. I didn't harden, I clarified. I didn't disappear, I solidified. I heard a soft voice, but my spine don't bend. Real scars. I don't hide what made me hard. If you want me small, too late. I learned to stand. I learned to stand. I learned my part.
Yeah, I walk in like my name got weight. Not ego, history on my back. I've been carrying questions in the hallway, turning whispers into facts. They wanted me grateful for tolerance, wanted me quiet, wanted me sweet, but sweet don't pay when the world gets rough. So I learned to move on beat. I've had days where my confidence shook, nights where my lungs forgot air. People said tone it down like truth is rude, like honesty isn't fair. I don't rap to be accepted, I rap to be accurate, to put my life in the rhythm, so I don't lose it to the narrative. I used to swallow my words for peace. Now peace means speaking clean. I don't need permission to breathe. I don't need your maybe or we'll see. Let's go.
Stage light, real scar, real scar. I don't hide what made me hard. Hey, if you want me small, too late. I learned to stand. I learned to stand. Yeah, I learned my part. Yeah. I'm tired of being the exception that makes people comfortable. Tired of
about being the strong one, so nobody asks what I carry though. I'm not a symbol, I'm a person. I'm not a headline, I'm a home. I'm a woman with a pulse in her throat, trying to sing without being owned. I can be soulful, I can be sharp, I can flip from velvet to steel. Not the word, the feeling. You know what I mean when it's real. I learn to let the groove do surgery, cut fear out of my voice. I learn to choose my own pace when the world try to steal my choice.
You don't have to like me, you don't have to get it. Just don't pretend you built me when I built this from creditless men. In fast breath, clean diction. I'm not running from the past, I'm repositioned. Every scar is a syllable, every bruise is a drum. I turn to where you from and to watch me become. I don't owe you a softer version, I don't owe you a war to truth. I'm the proof that survival can sing and still keep the tooth. Yeah.
Stage lights, real skies, real sparks, real skies. I don't hide what made me hard. If you want me, small, too late, late. Then I learn to stand, I learn my part. I learn my part. I learn my part.
I kept my name when they tried to change it. I kept my name when they tried to bend it. I lost some things along the way, but I kept my name. They tried to rename my experience, make it smaller, make it softer, make it easier to digest. They call my anger attitude, my silence weakness, my confidence too much. But none of those words fit when I tried them on alone. I learned early that names matter, what you answer to becomes you. So I stopped answering to things that erase me. I stopped letting other people alter my identity. I kept my name when they tried to change it. I kept my name when they tried to bend it. I kept my name. I lost friendships, lost comfort, lost versions of myself that were easier to accept. But I kept my core, I kept my language, I kept the rhythm in my chest that told me who I was before I needed permission. I didn't come this far to disappear, I didn't survive complexity to end up simplified. I don't need to be explained, I need to be respected, and respect starts with calling me by my name. I am not what you reduce, I am what I remain. So if this is the end of this chapter, let it be clear. I didn't break, I adapted, I didn't fold, I refined, I didn't lose my softness, I protected it, and through all of it, I stayed mine. I kept my name through shadow and flame. Kept my name, I lost some things along the way.
Second, yeah, I learned that order. Not because I'm cold, because the world gets louder. If I led with feelings, they'll call me unstable. If I led with facts, they finally sit at the table. So I talk like a witness,
not a victim. I learned the difference between pain and a system. Pain is personal, system is scalable. And I've been both, still standing, still capable. I'm not here to prove I'm perfect, I'm here to prove I'm present. To show you what it looks like when resilience is a sentence. I don't cry for performance, I don't smile for approval. Learn that being real means being willing to be unpopular. Rap first, heart second, that's how I kept it together. But my heart still beats behind it like a storm under quiet weather. Rap first, heart second, I'm not numb, I'm just controlled. If you listen past the cadence, you'll hear the truth unfold. They wanted my story simplified, clean edges, neat reasons, but my life has seasons that don't fit your convenient. I've been tired in my spirit, not lazy, just overloaded. And I still showed up when my chest felt corroded. I learned to take my fear and put it in rhythm, so it doesn't run my day like a hidden algorithm. I learned to breathe on the offbeat, to pause before I speak, cause words have consequences when your identity is unique. Rap first, heart second, that's how I kept it together. But my heart still beats behind it like a storm under quiet weather. Rap first, heart second, I'm not numb, I'm just controlled. If you listen past the cadence, you'll hear the truth unfold. I don't hate the world for being cruel, I hate the way it pretends it's neutral. I hate the way it asks you to smile while it measures you with rulers. But I also learned something, I can't let anger lead, cause anger burns fast and I'm trying to plant seeds. So I hold my power steady, I keep my tone clean, I let my art speak louder than any scene. I don't need to win arguments, I need to keep my mind, cause peace is not a prize, it's a practice over time. I never needed permission to exist, I only needed courage to stop shrinking. Rap first, heart second, that's how I survive the noise. But my heart still beats behind it, and it's finally my choice. Rap first, heart second, I'm both the fire and the calm. And I'm done explaining why I'm built like this at all.
This is a gospel for the restless, for the ones who don't sleep right, for the ones who keep moving just to make it to the light. Yeah, I've been the restless one, eyes open when the room goes quiet, mind loud like a siren, body tired but defiant. They tell you relax, like stress is a switch, but stress is a language, your life teaches you quick. I learned to pray with my feet, to hope with my hands, to keep going even when I don't understand. Not holy, just human, not fearless, just trained to carry my weight without making a stage.
I don't need a perfect ending, I need a steady day. I don't need the world to love me, I need to find my way. If my voice breaks a little, that's not weakness, that's truth. I kept singing through the damage, so I wouldn't lose my youth.
I'm tired,
Still standing,
I'm scared,
keep breathing,
I'm here.
keep going.
So when I step on the stage, I don't do it for the shine, I do it for the kid in me who needed a sign. That survival can turn into sound, that pain can turn into purpose, that your story doesn't end where the world tries to curve it. I'm not asking for sympathy, I'm asking for space to be complicated and peace to be holding my pace. This gospel ain't church, it's a rhythm in my chest, telling me stay alive when life is a test.
This is a gospel for the restless, for the ones who don't sleep right, for the ones who keep moving just to make it to the light.
And if you hear my voice
Shaking,
no, I'm still holding tight.
whoa.
This is a gospel for the restless, and we're gonna be alright.
I got hands like my mother, strong from carrying days, holding groceries, holding tears, holding bills in place. She never called it struggle, she called it what we do. She made dinner out of nothing made love feel true.
Yeah. And my father played records like prayers on the floor. Said, baby, don't let this world make you small anymore. So I learned to stand in rooms that didn't want me there. Learn to breathe through judgment like it's bad air. I used to chase freedom like it lived somewhere else. Now I see freedom is protecting your mental health. Freedom is coming home and being soft with your own. Freedom is building a family that feels like home. Not perfect, just honest, not loud, just real. A place where you can say
I'm tired and still feel
loved, still held, still safe even when life moves fast and you can't keep pace.
I'm trying to be strong like she was, but I'm learning strength can cry. I'm trying to be brave like he was, but I'm learning bravery is kind. If I leave anything behind, let it be love that lasts. Hands like my mother's, and a heart that won't go.
I think about the kid inside me, the one who felt ashamed, the one who tried to disappear whenever people said my name. I wanna tell her, look, your scars become your map. You don't run from the past, you turn it into rap. But not just bars, not just songs. In the choices, in the patience, in the righting wrongs. I don't wanna repeat the pain, I wanna rewrite the ending, so my child won't inherit the fear I've been defending. Some nights I'm overwhelmed, I won't lie. I look at the ceiling and ask, God, why the world gotta be so hard for tender hearts? Why love gotta compete with rent and broken parts? But then I hear my mother's voice, steady like a drum, saying, baby, you've been made for this, don't run. And my father's laugh warm like a bass line, saying music got you now, carry yours, shine. To the ones who raised me,
I'm still here.
To the ones I love,
I'm learning how to stay.
To the child I used to be,
You did not deserve that pain.
and to the child I may hold one day. I won't hand you my fears and inheritance, I'll hand you my honesty.
I'm trying to be strong like she was. I'm learning strength can cry. I'm trying to be brave like he was, but I'm learning bravery is kind. If I leave anything behind, let it be love that lasts. Hands like my mother's, and a heart that won't go.
I don't need applause for being alive. I don't need trophies to prove I survived. I need dinner with my people, a table, a laugh. I need to stop running from the aftermath. I need to forgive the world a little, not for what it did, but for what I won't carry. I need to put my pain down, so my love can walk without being weary.
It's like my mother, stay, and a heart that won't go back. Amen, amen. If love is what I leave behind, then I did my part. Hands like my mother, stay, and a heart in my heart. Hands like my mother, stay in a heart, in a heart. I learned to carry quietly because noise costs too much. I watched loud people burn out, trying to prove they were enough. I learned that strength doesn't always flex. Sometimes it just shows up. Sometimes it wakes up early, does what it has to, then goes home. I didn't grow up believing someone would save me. I grew up believing I had to be steady. Steady when people stare, steady when questions follow, steady when kindness felt conditional and love came throttled. So I kept my feelings folded, not hidden, protected. There's a difference, hidden things, right? Protected things live longer. I didn't stop feeling, I stopped explaining. I stopped bleeding in public just to make pain believable. I learned to cover quietly what I couldn't put down. I didn't make it disappear, I just stopped letting it drown everything good in me. I learned to carry quietly.
I learned to sit with discomfort without calling it failure. I learned that some weights are permanent features, like history in your posture, like family in your eyes. You don't drop them, you adjust how you walk. I watched my parents do the same, never called it sacrifice. Just did what had to be done to keep the lights alive. They didn't dramatize survival, they normalized it. And that taught me how to stay human inside.
I don't need relief, I need balance. I don't need escape, I need breathe, breathe, breathe. I don't envy people without scars. I wonder what they never learned. Pain sharpened my empathy, taught me when to stay, when to turn. I don't wear my hurt like a badge, I don't hide it either. It's just part of the way I move through life cleaner. And that's how I stay. Everything that mattered to me, I didn't trade away. I learned to treat it quietly, and that's how I stay. Everything that mattered to me, I didn't trade away. Love didn't come to me dressed in fireworks. It came wearing work clothes, hands tired, eyes honest. I learned early that affection doesn't always sound like promises. Sometimes it sounds like staying when everything says leave. I watched love survive in small kitchens and unpaid bills and nights when nobody said I'm scared, but everyone felt it. Love learned how to whisper because shouting cost too much. It learned how to sit still, how to wait, how to endure without applause. I didn't grow up believing in perfect romance. I grew up believing in effort and showing up even when your pride is empty, and choosing care over comfort. That kind of love doesn't trend, but it lasts. Love learned how to survive before it learned how to shine. It didn't save me from the dark. Oh, it stayed with me inside. Love learned how to survive without a stage or sign. If this is all it ever is, it's still enough for mine. I carry that into my relationships. I don't expect rescue. I don't confuse intensity with truth. I know love has weight, and weight requires balance. I know tenderness needs patience to remain gentle. I've loved people who were tired, people who didn't know how to receive. I've been the tired one too, learning how not to bleed on those who didn't cut me. Learning how to separate history from the present moment. That's a skill nobody teaches you. I don't need love to fix me. I need love that can sit when the room feels heavy and nothing wants to shift. I don't romanticize struggle, but I respect its lessons. It taught me how to love without consuming, how to give without erasing myself. I don't want a love that burns fast. I want one that warms slowly, one that understands silence as part of intimacy. Love learned how to survive, and that's why I believe in a quiet kind of forever that doesn't have to scream. Nothing about this was easy, even when it looked calm. I smiled through tension, I stayed through storms, People like to summarize pain once it's over. They call it growth, call it destiny, call it closure. But living through it felt like a lesson. It felt like guessing every day with no clear direction. I question myself constantly, not dramatically, quietly. The worst kind, the kind that makes you down. Your instincts, your tone, your right to feel upset. I didn't know if I was strong or just afraid to stop. Nothing about this was easy, and that's the truth. I didn't glide through the dark, I walked it through. Nothing about this was easy, but I stayed awake, and staying awake is how I made it through. I don't need applause for endurance, I don't need a medal for pain. I need space to acknowledge that some years rewired my brain. I learned how to anticipate disappointment, how to prepare for absence, how to lower expectations without lowering self-respect. I learned the difference between hope and denial. Hope says I'll try again, denial says ignore the signal. I don't confuse them anymore, I listen when my body speaks. That's not weakness, that's survival technique. I didn't win, I endured. It's not optimism, it's accuracy. I'm okay because I stopped asking life to be fair and started asking myself to be present. Nothing about this was easy, but I'm still here, and that counts. Ooh. Soft hearts don't break loud, they just learn to bend. They don't make a scene, they quietly end. And I've never been the type to throw my pain across the room. I learn to fold it carefully, like something that still matters. My heartbreak doesn't slam doors, it closes them slowly, making sure nothing valuable gets caught in the frame. I don't shout my grief, I let it sit beside me. I acknowledge it, then I keep going. That's how I was raised, that's how survival looked in the houses I knew. Soft hearts don't break loud, they don't ask for attention, they don't make demands, they make decisions. Soft hearts don't break loud, they don't ask for attention, they don't make demands, they make decisions. I loved you in a way that didn't consume me, and that's why it lasted as long as it did. I didn't need to own you, I needed to respect you, and respect sometimes means release. I don't regret loving softly, the world is already sharp enough. I don't regret choosing kindness, even when it wasn't returned perfectly. I don't need proof that I matter, I felt it when I gave. I didn't lose myself, I let myself go. So when this chapter closes, it doesn't echo, it settles like dust after a long walk. I'm still standing, still capable of love, still gentle, still here. Soft hearts don't break loud, they just learn to bend, and bending kept me whole. In the end, other tired before we ever said goodbye. We held hands through exhaustion, pretending we were fine.
Nobody warns you that love can fail, not from lack of care but lack of energy. We weren't cruel, we were depleted, we weren't distant, we were drowning quietly. We talked about the future like it was a cure, like time would fix what rest could, but rest never came. Life kept asking it, we kept answering with empty pockets. That's not weakness, that's reality.
We loved each other tired and thought love would refill, but love doesn't replace sleep or heal a broken will.
I don't blame you for leaving, I don't blame myself for staying. We were both trying to be strong in a season that demanded too much. I learned something important there. Love needs space to breathe, and sometimes letting go is the most honest care you can give.
Some loves don't end, they complete their purpose.
I carried you with no resentment, I carry the lesson. I know now to protect my energy so love doesn't become sacrifice. I know now that affection needs oxygen, I know now.
We loved each other tired, and that doesn't make it small. It makes it human, that's all. I said goodbye to the old fear, the one that lived under my ribs, the one that told me to be quiet so I could keep what little I had. I carried that fear like a passport, like without it I wouldn't belong. But fear doesn't protect you forever, it just keeps you small for too long. Goodbye to the old fear, I know I'm done shrinking in rooms. Goodbye to the old fear, I know I'm done calling it true. If I tremble, I'll still speak. If I doubt, I'll still move. Goodbye to the old fear, I'm choosing me, I'm choosing me. I learned to be careful with my joy, like joy was something they could take. But joy isn't a weakness, it's proof you didn't break. So I stopped hiding my laughter, stopped editing my tone, stopped asking if I'm allowed to feel at home in my own skin. I don't need the world to be kind, for me to be kind to myself. I don't need permission to breathe, I just need to stop apologizing. Goodbye to the old fear, I know I'm done shrinking in rooms. Goodbye to the old fear, I know I'm done calling it true. If I tremble, I'll still speak. If I doubt, I'll still move. Goodbye to the old fear, I'm choosing me, I'm choosing me. Goodbye to the old fear, I know I'm done shrinking in rooms. Goodbye to the old fear, I know I'm done calling it truth.
Breathe, stay still here.
After the goodbye, there was no applause, just quiet rooms and the sound of my own thoughts. Nobody tells you that after letting go you still have to wake up and live with the echo, not the word, the feeling, the empty space where pain used to sit. And for a while that space feels frightening. I kept expecting something dramatic, a breakthrough, a sudden relief, but healing didn't rush in. It walked slow and polite like it didn't want to scare me. After the goodbye I stayed, I didn't run from the quiet, I learned its shade. for one without feeling lonely. Learned how to hear my own breath without panic owning me. I learned that peace isn't loud, it's subtle, like realizing you're okay without announcing it to the world. I didn't lose anything, I gained room. So if this is the chapter where sadness exits, let it be gentle, let it be honest. I'm not afraid of remembering. I'm just done living it. After the goodbye, I stayed. I held my own hand. I was okay. I found happiness in the dark again, not as a joke, not as a mask. It's the kind of joy that stays with you when you've been through what I've passed. I found happiness in the dark again, not bright but real and strong. It doesn't need the sun to prove it, it just lives inside my song. I used to think darkness meant defeat, now I know darkness is a teacher. It shows you what you can carry, what you can't keep pretending. It teaches you to listen when the world is loud. It teaches you that dignity doesn't need a crowd. I've been in rooms where my existence felt debatable. I've been in days where love felt conditional. I've been the other, the maybe, the almost, and still I'm here. That's not luck, that's practice. Let me keep my softness, let me keep my voice, let me keep my family close, let me keep my joy. I found happiness in the dark again, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I found happiness in the dark again, and I learned how to protect it. But stay, I'm here. They told me joy should look brighter, but mine learned how to stay. I found a kind of happiness in shadow, and I'm not ashamed. Yeah, I grew up reading faces before books, learning danger from the way people look. Not fists, not loud threats, just distance. Questions wrapped in kindness, sharp in an instant. Where are you from? Said like a test, like my answer could never be yes. Like I had to earn the floor under my feet, like my body came with the warning receipt. I learned to smile without showing my pulse, learned to keep my voice low in crowded halls. I learned to fold myself small when the room got tense, like taking up space required a defense. But in the kitchen at home, my name sounded warm. 2 hands, 1 laugh, 1 record in the storm. My mother's patience was a quiet drum. My father's rhythm made the night feel less numb. So I carry both, tenderness and grit, a soft throat and a spine that wouldn't quit. I didn't become hard to scare the world, I became steady so it couldn't steal my world. I'm not a symbol, not a headline, not a lesson for your comfort. I'm a person with a history that still deserves a summer earth. Yeah. They told me joy should look brighter, but mine learned how to stay. I found a kind of happiness in shadow, and I'm not ashamed. Some days I still remember the sting, not dramatic, just a familiar thing. A joke that lands wrong, a stare too long, a room that asks me to be less, to be gone. But I don't fight every war with volume. I learn calm
can't be power in a different costume. I learned to breathe through the urge to explain, to stop translating my life for someone else's gain. My joy is not a trophy, it's a practice. It's making breakfast on a hard day and still tasting it. Forgiving myself for being sensitive, because sensitivity kept me intuitive. It told me when love was real. It told me when a smile was a seal over something dangerous underneath. I used to beg the mirror to pick a side. Now I look back and see I was never divided. I was whole, they were afraid of the shape of it. I was whole, they just didn't have room for it. So I walk like I belong because I do. Not to challenge you, just to live through. I don't owe you a softer version, I don't owe you a cleaner story. My joy survived the hallway, survived the whispers, survived to prove it. So don't ask me to hide it, now that you finally see it. I'm not asking for applause, I'm asking for air. I'm asking to be complicated in peace without being treated like a dare. And if my voice shakes sometimes, that's history in the vibration. But I still sing, still rap, still breathe, that's my declaration. They told me joy should look brighter, but mine learned how to stay. I found a kind of happiness in shadow. Goodbye sadness, I won't hate you. You kept me company when the world went quiet. Goodbye sadness, I won't chase you. You can leave the room but keep the song inside it. Goodbye sadness, I remember not the way but what it taught me to see. Goodbye sadness, I'm not empty, I'm just finally making space for me.
I used to wrestle with the dark like it owed me a refund. Like pain was a thief and I had to get my life back one by one. But pain don't fight fair, it doesn't follow rules. It sits on your chest while you're trying to be cool in front of people who never notice you shaking hands. People who think be strong is as simple as a plan. I grew up learning how to smile through static, how to translate a stare into something automatic, how to say I'm fine with a throat full of storm, how to be the calm one so nobody felt warned. But calm is expensive and I paid it for years with unspoken sentences, swallow tears. I thought sadness was the enemy, but sadness was a witness. It saw what I couldn't say out loud, it held what I wouldn't admit. It stayed when friends didn't know what to do, it stayed when love felt like something I outgrew. So I can't pretend it was only poison, it was also proof that I was still human.
Goodbye sadness, I won't hate you. You kept me company when the world went quiet. Goodbye sadness, I won't chase you. You can leave the room but keep the song inside it. Goodbye sadness, I remember not the way but what it taught me to see. Goodbye sadness, I'm not empty, I'm just finally making space for you.
I used to think healing meant forgetting, like the past should disappear if I'm better. But forgetting isn't healing, it's just hiding, and hiding makes the pain come back heavier. So I let it speak, let it sit, let it breathe. I stopped treating my heart like an enemy. I walked through days that felt like winter, even when the sun was right there. I watched the world keep moving like my hurt was invisible air. And still I kept going, quietly, not because I was fearless, because I was tired of losing myself to the fear of feeling. Now I can name the hurt without becoming it. I can remember the night without reliving it. That's growth, not a trophy, not a headline, just a softer mind and a steadier spine. I don't need to punish myself for being sensitive. Sensitivity is how I stayed intuitive, how I knew when love wasn't safe, how I knew when the room was fake, how I knew when I needed to leave to survive.
Sadness doesn't know my voice, it shaped it, but it doesn't control it. I sing now with room in my chest, I rap now with less need to prove it. I'm not trying to win against my past, I'm trying to live longer than it lasts.
If you're listening, you're tired,
don't rush your healing, let it come like morning light, slow, quiet, real.
I said goodbye 100 times before it finally felt true. And even then, I kept the song. Goodbye sadness, I won't hate you. You kept me company when the world went quiet. Goodbye sadness, I won't chase you. You can leave the room but keep the song inside it. Goodbye sadness, I'll remember not the weight but what it taught me to see. Goodbye sadness, I'm not empty, I'm just finally making space for me.
Short out of fear.
I let the sadness go first. I didn't fight it, I listened. I let it walk out the door without begging it to stay missing. I used to think healing meant erasing pain, like you could wipe a slate clean, like memory didn't have weight. But pain doesn't leave when you chase it. It leaves when you stop gripping its sleeve, when you stop asking it to explain why it needed to sit with you so long. I carry sadness like a familiar coat, warm but it kept me warm. It knew my shoulders, knew my pace, and never judged the form. And one day I realized it wasn't trying to hurt me, it was trying to teach me how to feel without collapsing. I let the sadness go first. I didn't push, I didn't plead. I thanked it for what it showed me. Then I let myself breathe. There were nights I thought if I let it go I'd disappear. Like sadness was proof I cared, like joy would make me insincere. But joy didn't replace it, joy waited patiently, like a light in the hallway that didn't rush me to see. I stopped calling myself broken just because I was tired. I stopped calling tears weakness just because they were quiet. I realized strength doesn't rush, it exhales, it loosens its grip and lets the body tell the truth. You stay longer than I wanted, but you left when I was ready. So when I say goodbye, it's not rejection, it's recognition of the time we shared and the time that's ending. Sadness shaped my empathy, it deepened my voice, but I don't need to live inside it to remember its point. I let the sadness go first, not because it was wrong, but because I learned I could carry myself forward. I let the sadness go first, and I stayed. Yeah, mother tongue is patience, my father rhythm is prayer. I learned love in small rooms where nobody had extra to spare. I remember hands that never stopped even when the body begged for rest. Bills on the table, dreams on the shelf, still they held the house together. They didn't call it sacrifice, they called it tools. They didn't talk about legacy, they just made sure we ate. I carry that in the way I move, quiet, steady, stubborn. I don't quit because quitting feels like erasing the people who built me from nothing. And nothing isn't empty, nothing is where you learn creativity. Nothing is where you learn that love can be food. I got my mother in my breathing, I got my father in my time. If the world gets cold again, I'll still be fine. Not because I'm fearless, because I'm not alone. Oh, I got my mother tongue, I got my father's home. When the world tried to make me doubt, family made me grounded. When the streets asked me to shrink, family kept me rounded. They didn't fix my pain, they didn't erase the stairs. They just reminded me I didn't deserve them. And that reminder is powerful. It keeps you from internalizing cruelty. It keeps you from turning hatred inward. It keeps you from confusing survival with punishment. So I speak softer now, not because I'm weak, because I'm healed enough to not confuse volume with truth. To the ones who raised me, I don't need to win for you to be proud. I just need to stay human. To the child I used to be, you were never the problem. To the love I still believe in, meet me where I am, not where the world demands. I got my mother in my breathing, I got my father in my time. If the world gets cold again, I'll still be fine. Not because I'm I got my mother in my breathing. I got my father in my time. Try to rename me before they learn me. They call me different like a warning sign. Like the world was simple and I crossed the line. They wanted a label, something neat, a box with a lid and a lock and a key. But my life never fit in a single word. And I learned early how to swallow the hurt without swallowing myself. I carried my name like a fragile cup through crowded rooms that wanted me to spill. I learned to keep my chin level because the moment you look down, they build a home on your doubt. I'm not mad at questions, I'm mad at the intention behind them. That quiet hunger to reduce me, to make me easier on their eyes. I got my name on my skin, and it won't wash away. I'm not what you assume, I'm what I stay there. I got my name on my skin, and it's mine to keep. I survived your stares, I survived your sleep. I've been the only one in the room who didn't match the blueprint. I felt the pause before laughter, the silence after my name. I watched people pretend it was nothing, like exclusion doesn't leave stains. But stains can become art if you stop treating them like shame. I found music like a back door out of panic, a place where the rhythm didn't ask me to be normal, a place where the bass could hold me when language failed. So I wrote my way into a voice that couldn't be ignored, not because it screamed, because it was true. I just didn't think I needed permission to take space. Now I know space is something you keep, not something you're granted. I'm done apologizing for the shape of my life, done translating myself to make it comfort right. I don't need to be acceptable to be worthy of respect. I don't need your approval to know my breath is correct. My family is the reason I don't fold. Their love wasn't loud, it was consistent. It showed up in tired hands and quiet dinners, and prayers that didn't need an audience. That's the kind of strength I trust, not the flashy kind, the kind that keeps going. I got my name on my skin, and it won't wash away. I'm not what you assume, I'm what I stay. I got my name on my skin, and it's mine to keep. I survived your stares, I survived your sleep. I'm here, still mine, breathe. No crown, just breath. Yeah, that's my flex. I don't need a throne to know what's next. I've been through rooms where they loved you quiet, then feared you when you stopped complying. I learned to keep my head down without letting my spirit fold. Learn to be warm without letting my story get sold. I used to want validation like oxygen, now I want peace like medicine. I don't need you to understand me, I need you to stop trying to reduce me. I'm not a moment, I'm a catalog. I'm not a trend, I'm a backbone. No crown, just hurt. That's how I stay alive. No crown, just hurt. I don't need your high five. If you want me smaller, you'll have to wait. I'm not asking permission to take my space.
I used to think power meant never shaking. Now
Now I know power is shaking this speaking. I used to think love meant being chosen. Now I know love starts when you stop abandoning. I'm not here to be perfect, I'm here to be present. Back in the pocket, clean cadence. I'm not performing pain, I'm narrating maintenance. I keep my boundaries like braids tight. I keep my truth in plain sight. I don't do drama for clicks, I do discipline, that's it. I'm not angry, I'm exact, and exact is what lasts. I carry both, groove and grit. I sink through cracks, I rap the wit. I don't need to prove I'm strong, I just keep going when it's long. No crown, just breathe.
Remember that.
The world tried to box me, I folded the map. No crown, just breathe. I don't need your throne, no throne. No crown, just breathe.
I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm
I don't need permission, I never did. I learned early the world won't open unless you kick at the door with your talent, with your timing, with your teeth, with your truth in your throat and your heart underneath. They told me tone it down, I said watch me go up. They told me pick a lane, I said I'm building a truck. I carry both, melody and grit. I sing like I'm healing, I rap like I'm lit. I've been underestimated, categorized, misread like a headline. Could summarize the life I led, but I'm not a paragraph, I'm a whole book. Chapters you can't skip with a hard look at what it costs to be different in the room. That's the same at what it costs to keep loving when they weaponize your name. So if my voice sound like fire, it's history in it. I'm not too much, I'm the proof that you can live with it.
I used to swallow my truth for peace. Now I speak in my lungs, release. I'm done asking for space to breathe. If I'm here, believe it. No permission needed, I'm already on.
I got a groove in my bones from a different root. Soul in my chest, rhythm in my youth. I learned to turn pain into cadence, shame into swing. Turn a cold stare into a reason to sing. They love you when you're silent, they feel you when you shine. They clap for your struggle, then hate when you climb. But I don't live for claps, I live for control of my story, my body, my heart, my role. I'm not a trend, I'm a timeline. I've been here, I've been mine. I survived the sideways, looks the backhand praise. I survived the what are you in 1,000 ways. So now I rap with a purpose and I sing with teeth. Not to scare you, just to keep me free. Because freedom ain't giving, it's taking its steps. And I'm stepping with both feet, no regrets. I'm not asking to be understood, I'm not asking to be understood. I'm asking to be left alone in my truth. If that makes you uncomfortable, sit with it. Back in the pocket, I'm sharper, I'm steadier. I don't fold, I don't flinch, I don't beg you to get with me. I'm the sound of survival with melody stitch. I'm the line between broken and fixed. I'm the daughter, the lover, the mother, the be. I'm the one woman who learns she can be. All of it loud and calm, soft and strong. I'm not choosing a song.
No permission needed, I'm already on. No permission needed, I'm here, no permission needed, I'm already I'm here to stay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No permission, just presence, that's the line I live on. I don't wait for the world to agree before I move on. I've been through rooms where they measured my tone before they measured my work. Rooms where different men, danger, and kindness came with a smirk. I learned to keep my head high without turning bitter. Learn to speak plain without needing a filter. Learn to rap with my teeth and sing with my scars. Not for sympathy, for accuracy, for art. They try to shrink me into categories like I'm a file in a drawer, but I'm a living story and you can't label that anymore. I carry rhythm in my blood, tenderness in my chest. I can be soft without folding, I can be calm under stress.
No permission, just presence.
I'm here, that's the message.
No permission, just presence. I don't need your blessing. If you want me smaller, wait, I'm done negotiating space. No permission, just presence.
Yeah, look at my face.
No permission, just presence. No permission.
explain. Like my truth needed approval. I used to swallow my anger to keep the room stable, but stability built on silence is a fragile table. One bump and it breaks, and you're blamed for the fall. So I stopped performing fine for people who don't listen. Stop making myself easier to keep the comfort consistent. I chose myself, not selfish necessary, because loving others while abandoning me was never charity, it was tragedy. I got family in my backbone, hey. I got history in my voice, hey. I got the kind of resilience that come from having no choice, but now I choose, that's the difference. I choose my pace, I choose my tone, I choose my life in my own space. I used to think power meant never shaking. Now I know power is shaking and still speaking. I used to think love meant being chosen. Now I know love starts when you stop abandoning. Back in the pocket, clean syllables, sharp breath. I'm not running from the past, I'm rewriting what's left. Not the facts, my position inside them. Not the pain, my permission to survive it. I don't need the world to clap for me to keep going. I don't need the room to understand for me to keep growing. I'm not a headline, I'm a heartbeat. I'm not a trend, I'm a timeline. I'm not a rumor, I'm a real one. I'm not almost, I'm fine. And fine means honest, not perfect, not pretty. Fine means I'm here still breathing, still steady, still steady.
No permission, just presence.
I'm here, that's the message.
No permission, just presence. I don't need your blessing. If you want me smaller, wait, I'm done negotiating space. No permission, just presence.
Look at my face.
No permission, just presence. No permission, just presence. No permission, just presence.
Look at my face.
No permission, just presence. 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 No permission, just presence.
Look at my face.
Yeah, tears don't owe me anything. They already showed up. They already did their job. They already held me when I froze up. I don't need them to last forever. I don't need them to perform. They're not a contract with the past. They're a reaction, not a norm. I cried when I didn't have language. Cried when words felt unsafe. Cried because silence felt heavier than anything I could say. And one day I noticed the tears came less often. Not because I was numb, but because I had softened. Soft enough to sit with myself without judgment. Soft enough to admit that healing doesn't come with announcements. It sneaks in between routines, between mornings that feel ordinary, until you realize the weight is gone. Tears don't owe me anything. They already came through. I don't need to keep reopening wounds to prove they were true. I don't need pain as evidence. I lived it. Now when sadness visits, it doesn't unpack. It sits for a moment, then respects my back. I don't chase it away, I don't invite it in. I just let it pass through like weather, like wind. Tears don't owe me anything, and neither does the past.